Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to share with you a quote that I recently read, which said that ships don't sink with water around them, they sink when water enters them. In other words, don't let what is around you get into you. Now, in such a situation whereby we are constantly bombarded with different kinds of information, especially through social media, Facebook, WhatsApp, so on and so forth, it's easy to get carried away and feel even more depressed about what's really going on in the world. And it's not only affecting a small part of this world, it's affecting the entire globe. All the countries and nations in the world are going through their own way of dealing with COVID-19. I feel that this is the perfect opportunity for us to be able to think about and reflect on what we're actually going through as human beings. It's not something that is new. It is new for our generation or the generation before us. But what I read recently, and of course I didn't know about it back then, is the Spanish flu. I didn't know about it in a sense I hadn't read about it before. Is that the Spanish flu 100 years ago did the same thing to humankind. It put everybody in quarantine, in a lockdown, and this is something that humans have gone through. So human beings are resilient. We tend to come out of difficult circumstances, and this is something that differentiates us from other creations of God. What this should do basically is strengthen our views of what is happening in the world. We need to look at it from a positive view. Now, when people tend to say that, everything or anything to do with coronavirus is negative, so now let's shift our focus into something that is just positive and forget about coronavirus. I don't want to hear about it, I don't want to know about it, etc., etc. Being positive is noble. It is a noble trait to have. But going away from the problem, now that is an issue in itself. We need to take that problem, turn it around into something that is positive. And you've heard this message before. So we need to look at the coronavirus as something that we can take to learn or better ourselves in the long run. It's not something that we should just put under the blankets and just run away from it. It's here. It's affecting us, and it is going to affect us for the upcoming few days, weeks, or months. We don't know how long it's going to take. So what we should constantly think about is that in the situation that we are in, there are other communities who have gone through similar situations but have got nothing to do with the virus. For example, you look at cities or countries like Kashmir, Yemen, Palestine. They have been under constant lockdowns for years, if not months. Yemen may have started recently for a few years, but Palestine has been 40 plus years. Kashmir has been for quite a while as well. So we do have pockets of communities and religious followers who have gone through such of the same process that we are currently going through, and that is primarily staying at home, unable to go out, etc., etc. But those are political situations. The circumstances surrounding that is political. This is biological. So let's take it in a way whereby we can now channel what this is doing to us into something that is more positive. Over the last few years, I've heard over and over again how our youth are running away from communities and from families. And perhaps it is the influence of social media, it is the influence of peer pressure, but this every generation has gone through. It may be slightly more difficult now because of how social media is really affecting all of us. But it is a perfect opportunity to allow families to be able to understand each other, especially when it comes to parents and kids. We have a perfect reason now to be with our children or vice versa, understand them, talk to them, learn about them. Don't let them be in their rooms all the time with the phone or the laptop or whatever it is that they're doing. Use this time, for example, to read, to play family games together, to reflect on your experiences, to do things together, whether it is craft with the younger children, or perhaps even cooking with the older children, whatever it is a perfect opportunity to look at this thing in a positive manner. On a personal level, I feel that the world needs to go through this in order to adjust our mindset. I mean, come on, we have been so steeped in our work, our school life, so on and so forth, that we tend to forget the people around us whom we love a lot. It is the time whereby we can stay connected. Personally, I've also been affected by it. I'm now thinking more about those people around me, whether it is my family or my extended family, or whether it is my friends, so on and so forth. I've made actually more phone calls in the past few days than I have perhaps in the past couple of months. And that is a good thing. It needs to happen for us to be able to appreciate what we otherwise would not have appreciated. It shouldn't be taken as something that, for lack of a better word, and I don't want to use this word, something that is depressing. If we think of it a lot as something that is depressing, we're eventually going to feel depressed. But if we think of it something as a lesson that we need to learn, and we are learning, then that's what it's going to be at the end of it all. We'll all emerge from it on something that is more on a positive note, I believe. We hear about the number of people who are getting sick on a daily basis. I mean, you're talking about in the thousands, tens of thousands. The number of people that are actually dying from this disease. But this is all the cycle of life that we have to go through. And distancing ourselves is actually going to make the situation better. And if that's what it's supposed to do, then let's think about it in a way that is only going to make us look at the future and not what we are currently experiencing. So, overall, this message is basically just to remind us. It is a cycle that we are going through. It is a cycle that will continue for the next few days, weeks, or months, as I said. But it is also something that should strengthen us, should give us a positive outlook in what we are seeing, and also appreciate those people who are day and night giving up their lives to ensure that this is contained in the manner that it should be. We really salute all of those people who are going out of their way in order to help their communities, which in other normal circumstances would otherwise not have been seen in a positive way. So I want to end this by saying stay safe, stay alert, and keep sanitized. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.